I found out my wife has been selling explicit pictures to her brother-in-law for years, and she's begging me not to leave her over this. My wife Jessica, 34, and I, 35, have been married for 3 years, and we dated for 2 years before that, and we have a 2-year-old daughter. Jessica has 2 sisters. The eldest one, 38, is married to Jake, 40. A week ago, I came home from work early and wanted to scare my wife. I tried to be sneaky, but somehow I slipped and accidentally hurt my back. Jessica came to my rescue. I went to the bedroom, and she went to the kitchen to get an ice pack. Her phone was by the bed, and a WhatsApp notification came from Jake saying, "You've got the best pair I've ever seen." I immediately knew what was happening. I unlocked the phone and saw that she had just sent some pictures and videos of her tatas to Jake, and there were no previous chats before that. When Jessica came back to the room, I showed her the chat and just simply asked, "How long?" I have known this woman for 10 years, and I have never seen her so mortified. Her eyes got teary, and she said, "Babe, I am sorry, but I can explain," so I said go on. According to her, at the end of 2019, she was struggling with money, and Jake suggested he would help her out. He hinted that he would like to see her pics. I feel like I am writing a naughty film script at this point. So she did send him pics and it continued over the years. She swears there was nothing emotional or physical involved, it was purely transactional. I didn't believe any of it, but she showed me on Venmo, that dude paid her $300 yesterday. I then told her, it's been 5 years. Try to remember if anything physical happened. For me, if even half of what she is saying is true, how could something like that not become physical? She started crying and told me she could prove it tomorrow because Jake would get suspicious if she tried to talk to him now. I took her phone, went to a bar, got wasted for the night, and when I came back she was still there crying. I just slept on the couch. Next day in the morning I gave her the phone and she called Jake. The conversation goes something like this. "Jessica, hey, I was wondering if you want some more pics?" Jake, "I'm short on money, yesterday, I spent all of it." Jessica, "We can do something more this time and meet in person. I've changed my mind on that." Jake, "No way. How much are we talking about?" I felt like I was going to puke. I told her that we are done and left for the office. I am not a very wealthy dude, but I would consider myself a stable guy who could take care of his family. Now I just feel like I have failed as a man, whose wife had to sell her body to meet her expected lifestyle. When I got home that night, she looked like crap. I asked Jessica why she kept taking money from him after we got married and why she didn't ask me while we were dating. She said she didn't know how to stop and that it was easy money. I left my home that night and told her she can keep the home and the car, but I want 50-50 custody of my child. So here I am now. I haven't told anyone about this. It's been a week since, staying in a hotel. I go home in the evening to play with my daughter. I'm speaking with divorce lawyers, and Jessica is constantly talking about marriage counseling. Update: some people were asking me to get a paternity test. I don't need one. I know she is my daughter because I'm Indian and my wife is white, and my daughter looks like me. Now for the update. After I made that post, I shared my situation with my cousin's sister. She is the only family member I have living in the States. I visited her place the next day, and she knocked some sense into me. I realized part of me still didn't want a divorce because I basically married Jessica against my parents' will. They wanted me to have an arranged marriage. So, my failed marriage would hurt my ego. She also arranged a meeting with a divorce lawyer, and no, I am not giving up my house. I was just emotional at that time. From what I understand, in our state, adultery has pretty much zero impact on the assets, so it will likely be a 50-50 split. However, there is a high chance I can get better custody of my daughter because I have a job, and Jessica doesn't. She is also involved in naughty work at this point, which could work in my favor. My father-in-law called me last evening, and he was crying. He told me he didn't know what to say to me and that if he were in my place, he would have left her. Apparently, Jessica got scared and told her family everything after I didn't visit home for 2 days and had blocked her everywhere. I guess I should have done that a little while ago, and Jake is out of his house also. So, I think I will go for a divorce because there is no point of reconciliation at this point when the whole relationship seems fake to me. Update 2. Before getting to the update, some people were cursing me in my DM saying I might not earn enough and accusing me of financially controlling my wife and taking advantage of her. I don't think this is the case for me. My salary is close to mid-6 figures, and we have a joint account where I put half of my in-hand salary and we don't even spend that much. So, the day after Jessica told everyone about the situation, my mother-in-law called and wanted to talk. She was with Jessica after the whole thing happened. I returned to my home later that evening, and her parents and her sister Josie, Jake's wife, was there. After I got there, Jessica wanted to talk alone. According to her, Jake was trying to pursue her since she was about 16 or 17. For context, Jake and Josie have been together for 20 years now. This continued for almost 2 years. He used to make suggestive comments about her body, and she told Josie about it. But, Josie didn't believe Jessica at that time and told her she was doing this for attention. Jessica didn't tell her parents either because, according to her, Josie was their parents' favorite, so nobody would have believed her. Jake didn't do anything between those years besides casual flirting, until 2019 when Jessica was having problems with rent and the whole transactional thing happened. I asked why she didn't ask me about it, and she said we were only 1 month into dating and it could have looked bad. She swears nothing happened after that until last year when Jake and Josie started having problems in their marriage, and he started messaging Jessica again. She didn't entertain him at first, but she had gained some weight from pregnancy and thought I was ignoring her because of it, which I was not. At that time, I was working close to 13 or 14 hours a day to change my niche to another tech stack. Massive layoffs were also going on, so it was a pretty bad time. Now she admitted that she liked the attention and validation this time. She called herself an attention whore. but she didn't have any feelings towards him. They started exchanging pics and money and this happened 3 times. Then she admitted it was cheating although there were no emotional or physical actions from her side, but she said that she shouldn't have done it. I asked her why she didn't tell me about Jake harassing her when we first met or started dating. She said she thought I wouldn't have believed her and that it was in the past. Then I asked why she didn't tell me the first time I found out about this. Her answer was the same, she believed I wouldn't have believed her because nobody else knew about this. I was just sad about the fact she doesn't trust me enough to tell me such a horrific incident. Now, I did something I am not very proud of. I asked her about a paternity test. I know it was stupid, but emotionally I was in a weird place at that moment. She was totally emotionless throughout the whole conversation, but after hearing about the test, she broke down crying and started hyperventilating. I started crying too. After about 10 minutes or so, we stopped crying, and she said okay, then asked me if we are getting a divorce. I told her I don't know. She then said we should get a postnup before I do something like that. That line felt like a tight slap to my face. I was like, you're not even gonna convince me not to go through with it? Then she left with her parents. The next day, she called crying, asking not to get a divorce, and to start marriage counseling. Obviously I said okay. So here we are now after some weird couple of days, still getting the postnup, her IC starting next week, our MC starting next month. Hopefully, trust will return someday. Also Jake is denying all that. According to him, Jessica seduced him for money and my sister-in-law is getting a divorce. I know some people are gonna call me a doormat, but I don't care.